Welcome to this week's Peeves, Tips, and Tricks, a holistic lifestyle YouTube channel, part of the Holistic Collaboration series, and I am Sherry Bainbridge. And today I'd like to talk about divine communication. Now, if this is the information you're interested in, please do subscribe, notifications, and give me a thumbs up so YouTube knows I'm here, and pass this around so other people hear this also. We have an energy system. We are 90% energy. Our physical body, 10% of that, is also 70% water. So the remaining teeny tiny 3% is the physical body. So when energy is taken out of the equation, it makes absolutely no sense. To our benefit, the study of the energy system has been around thousands of years with great success. Many studies show, even in Western philosophy, that how a person thinks, which is energetic, plays a huge role in how they heal, how they approach their life, what they attract to them. And in this energy body, we have 72,000 chakras. These are electrical communication points. They communicate with the physical body, with our own energy. They communicate outward, and they take in communications. And this again has been around thousands and thousands of years with great success. Everyone knows Dr. Oz. He's highly supportive of Qigong. And I have to say it's one of my absolute favorite modalities when dealing with blocked energy. Our energy, when it gets blocked, whatever area that is in, affects every single cell. In American studies, when you think angry, every single cell has a reaction in the body. So it makes sense to learn how to deal with life where it is more supportive to the physical body, the energetic body, and the health of the whole of us. So let me give you an example of divine communication. I'm at the airport last year, and I happened to be at Denver International, and I'm excited. I love to travel. Well, I have challenges and disabilities, and one of them happens to be a severe neck injury that I've been dealing with for 15 years using energetic and American modalities in order to reach a point where I can at least somewhat function as normally as a person can. So those with challenges out there, I'm sure you understand this. As you watch your life and everything you used to do, one by one, is taken away from you. So I'm dragging my luggage. It's lightweight, it's sturdy, I have a bag on top of it. I'm thinking, wow, I can handle this. And I am using my cane, walking through the airport. And I go up the escalator, and one wheel just slipped on the edge, and that threw me completely off, and I start to go backwards. And the beautiful young man behind me just pushes me right up. I had to do it again because I didn't quite have it, so he pushes me up again. There must have been 100 people around. At least 50 people gasped. I'm devastated, embarrassed, and I can't deal with this emotion at all. Under the circumstance, it's highly inappropriate, so it just gets stifled down. And I moved through my day. As the day went on, I ended up at a friend's house that evening, and divine communication began where I felt an emotion rise, and I clearly and accurately was able to define it. I looked at my friend and said, "Don't get worried. I'm okay, but my body's going to start shaking." I've never had this happen before, and it immediately started to to shake. As I sat with that experience, I am feeling the devastation and the self-pity rise up with me. Understandably, right? One more thing I cannot do for the safety of others as well as myself. And as I had finished this experience, tears began to flow. And I explained what just happened to my good friend. And my good friend said, just take the elevator. Well, that pretty much pulled the rug out of my self-pity moment. And all I could do was crack up. Yes, very much so. I guess I can take the elevator. So in that moment, I supported my energy system by listening. I supported my body by allowing it to release that huge energy from it. And I'm telling my body quite clearly that I'm here to help it through this experience, to acknowledge that wonderful communication with emotion. There are many, many ways that Spirit and the Divine communicate with us. And as we develop ourselves and face the negative part of ourselves so that we can have kindness and compassion as a human being, and we can acknowledge we have those capabilities, but this is my choice not to be this way. Now, that being said, when we change a thought, right, it now has to cascade through all other thoughts in order to check where there may be blockages and things that are not aligned with that thought. This is why changing thinking can be difficult. It's why addictions can be difficult, because this new thought has to go through everything. It can get backed up with another thought, and now you got another thought that's healing and bumping into things that need to be acknowledged and faced and dealt with, so this new thinking can now align with the mind, the heart, the energy body, the soul. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But as we do that, our clarity and understanding divine communication will increase. And that's one example of how it can happen when you are in tune to this type of thinking. The majority of philosophies focus on the main 7 to 8 chakras. And I always include the ear chakras in everything I've done, because I really believe we should be listening much more than we should be talking. So all of these chakras need to be spinning at the appropriate speed, in the appropriate direction, because not all are the same, and just simple gender differences can cause them to spin differently. So always, when I align my chakras, they are to spin at the appropriate speed, in the appropriate direction, at the appropriate size, in perfect harmony with itself, each other, and the physical body. And this helps to balance. Well, all this being said, every day we have dealings that affect our energy. Running into people that are negative, there's a communication that goes on. We can have our own mind chatter that is messing and doing blockages. And many, many years ago, there's a wonderful technique that I learned, and I have found it to be the most effective and beautiful form of thought. In my energy, even around my home, in my doorways, there are energetic gifts. That's right, energetic gifts that I use my imagination and put up. I have flowers for people and chocolates and coupons for whatever and hearts of love. So when there's a negative energy that comes by and that energy wants nutrition and it reaches out to my energy, it has something to take. And you can feel that if you're paying attention. You can feel when one of those gifts are taken and that little area becomes less dense and light, and there's like this hole you can feel that's there. And all you have to do is just refill that hole one time. If you recognize it, then you can turn it over to your team. I believe we all have a celestial team, and we will talk about that at a later date. This is such a loving experience, and I have used it so many times. When I've gotten difficult clients that I've had to deal with, and when you're in this type of industry, oftentimes you are getting the most desperate people. They've tried everything else and they're looking for some alternative that's actually going to put the pieces together for them to continue their healing. And I would always put up these gifts in front of them and watch them calm down. And for me, it worked 98% of the time. One time I'm driving through Wyoming, and there happened to be this other vehicle that was traveling way too close and wouldn't let me get away. And every time I'd pass, then it would pass and slow down. And I finally just passed it and sped. Well, just so happens over the hill there's a policeman and he pulls me over. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, a ticket, sure enough. So I'm watching in the side mirror, the young policeman's about 33 years old, and he flips open that book and he's getting ready to write me a ticket and tell me what I have done. And I'm putting up gifts. I'm noticing he's got a wedding ring on, so I'm giving him gifts of weekends away with his lovely woman, babysitters, coupons, dinner, theater, flowers, whatever I could think of, I was putting up that might relate to his energy. And after talking with him for just a few minutes, he went back to his patrol car and he sat there for what seemed like an eternity. He finally came out and he came back and says, you know, I have no choice but to write you a ticket because there's just been too many accidents. And of course I understand that. They're doing their job and I was speeding. And I'm thinking, great, this is going to be a pricey ticket. So he writes it out and I do the signing and take it and move on my way. Later I take a look at that ticket, and instead of writing it for 15 miles over, he wrote it only for 5. So he did help me out. He had no other reason to do so other than being a nice person. There was a shift in the energy, and all of it together combined with him making a lovely choice. Thank you for that. Sometimes we get breaks and sometimes we don't. That one happened to be a break. I hope these things help you live a much healthier, more balanced, and loving life with yourself and with those around you. Please have a fabulous week. Divine love for everyone. Namaste.